Salam und herzlich willkommen zum MKW Podcast. Mein Name ist Ahmed und heute habe ich einen ganz besonderen Gast da. Es ist Khalil.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Khalil ist US-amerikanischer Bürger und entsprechend natürlich ein bisschen versierter in der englischen Sprache. Daran werden wir uns heute ein bisschen ausprobieren. So, Khalil, let's get to know you. You are a chef. You're working in a...
Number one hotel in Berlin?
Yeah, well, okay, don't do ads for free. So,
No doubt, no free advertising here.
where you from the States? Can you tell us some?
I'm
some
from Chester,
things?
Pennsylvania. Chester, Pennsylvania, Philly. If for anybody who doesn't know the geography, it's right below New York. I have to explain this to a lot of Germans sometimes. So.
And how old are you?
24.
24. Okay, in German, okay.
Deutsch.
Yeah.
When ich kein Deutsch spreche, ich will.
How long has it been since you moved to Berlin?
Vielleicht eineinhalb Jahren jetzt, vielleicht ein 4 Monate.
And how's life treating you since then?
Alhamdulillah, immer gut.
Immer good.
Immer gut.
Okay, you can be more elaborative, you know?
Of course. So it was very hard for me when I first came to Berlin, not because the community was so welcoming when I first got here, you know. The masjid I went to, their doors were always open. Everybody was very, oh my God, so helpful. Anything I needed, whether it was money or a ride, didn't matter what, whatever I asked for, they gave, you know, quickly and adamantly.
Okay. Paint us a picture. Like, was 1.5 years, so it was 23?
Well, actually, I came to Berlin in 22, but I just came for 1 month to, you know, scope out the scene, figure out what was what. And so it's actually a very long story, and it's very interesting if I can start from the beginning.
Yeah, start.
I'll give you the whole story.
Yeah, give us the whole scoop.
I can't start with my story without talking about my father. Now, my father was the manager of Kool in the gang. You know, I didn't realize they were so big. They just got into the Hall of Fame. So basically, a lot of the opportunities that I got here came through them and my father's contacts. So I was always jealous of them traveling. So my father knew that I wanted to travel. So he reached out, and me being Muslim, I wanted to go to the Muslim country. But, you know, he talked me into coming here because this is where the opportunity for me was. He put me in touch with a man by the name of Khalil Schroeder. He's basically like an uncle to me. When my father passed away in a car accident, you know, he really took the mantle up and, you know, helped me all the paperwork, which I will get to later because it was a lot.
Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un.
Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. So yeah, basically I came out here for about 2 months, and then being American, you know, we have treaties with the German government. So I can stay here for 3 months while I look for a job. I stayed here for those 3 months. I had all of my paperwork together before I got here, but when I did get here, it was very, very hard getting my stuff through because everything was, you know, really crazy. A lot of immigrants coming from the Ukraine war. And so there were immigrants flooding in from everywhere. So it was really backed up. I remember they even closed it down for a month. And then I ended up staying for, I think, maybe close to 6 months, you know, just floating around here without any work. Yeah, alhamdulillah, I stayed in the masjid a lot of that time. You know, alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always has a plan. Because during that time, I did a lot of studying, and which is why the brothers at the masjid know me so well, how I met Levent as well. Basically, I just stayed in the masjid those months studying, you know?
For a German, it is hard to...
I didn't speak any German either.
No, not. We don't have to switch the language. I mean, as a German citizen, so you are in a foreign country, and the first thing you do is go to a masjid?
Me, yeah. I mean, you know, that's where I've always felt home, even in America. You know, it's a very tight-knit community.
Okay. So the contact your father gave you, he took you, figuratively speaking, by the hand and say, let's go to my masjid, or to the masjid I frequently visit.
No. Basically, since I was out here so long, you know, I'm making Jummah every Friday. I got to find a place to make prayer. And, you know, the masjid was right down the street from me.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's a geographical issue.
Alhamdulillah.
All right, okay, interesting. So you're staying here, you're scooping out the situation, and everything is backed up, legal issues.
Yeah.
And you are spending your time at the masjid, reading, meeting people. How would you summarize that era of your life?
Mentally straining, because, you know, I came out here with a dream to fulfill my father's, you know, ambition for me.
And that is?
It really didn't matter what. I just wanted to be the best at what I did, no matter what it was.
Okay,
you know?
interesting.
And so for me, not being able to pursue my passion, it was very rough for me. But, alhamdulillah, it opened my eyes to, other things. Because no matter what you want to do, you can't rush. You can't rush. My father always used to say to me, you can only do the work, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is responsible for the results. Yeah, it was rough, but alhamdulillah, it was, now looking back, spiritually, it's probably one of my peaks, honestly. Hajjud, witr, all of these things. I started making very good habits during that time.
It is often that in the moments we feel the most weakened, our bond to our creator is the strongest. Would you agree?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you talked about your passion. What is your passion?
Yo, I just want to be the best possible cook I can be.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to my uncles, I was always a lazy kid, Just a funny, quick side note. I don't want to, monologue too much, but when I was in school, I was a smart kid, but I was real lazy. Like, in classes, I would do the mental math to figure out, okay, I have an 80 in this class. I can stop doing homework for like 2 weeks and I can still pass this class, so I don't need to do the work anymore. Yeah, so that was always me. But, seeing what my uncles achieved, what my father achieved, great, absolutely fantastic things that they did, really inspired me to want to excel in what I did.
It is unusual to take a passion or to take a job in the food industry because you can't be lazy in the food industry.
No.
You are now in the field, so you can't skip a step. You have to take every step until there is something on the table.
Yeah, absolutely.
When did that change come? I don't get it.
I'd say it was when my dad came and spoke to me. Hey, Lil, I love you, but we got to figure out what we're doing here. You're 18. You can't live in my basement. That's not going to work, all right? We got to figure out. Now, I'll help you, whatever it is. It's his words, verbatim. I'll help you out, whatever it is, but we got to figure out what we're doing here because this right here, this ain't working. So I was like, okay, I've always enjoyed cooking. Originally, my father wanted me to do what's called HVAC. It's like electrical work, but it's not just electrical work. It's like, like how you build houses and things, all this. Okay. So, I opened one of those books and, like the cartoons when like the smoke's coming out of the guy's ears and all this, the gears are cranking up. I was like, all right, yeah, this isn't going to work. But I got to figure out something to get this guy off of my back.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, well, I like cooking. So maybe I'll go and I'll learn how to cook better while I figure out what I'm actually going to pursue. And then, I went to college and I fell head over heels for the industry. I remember the exact moment, the exact dish. It was in culinary school. The first time I tasted brown chicken stock. It's little things like that. I don't know. In that very moment, I was like, you know what? I can do this. This I can do.
It's fascinating to hear that someone finds his passion. It's I think it's rare.
It found me, really. And it found me early, too. It's the crazy thing. A lot of my friends, back in America, they still, mulling over what they're going to do with the rest of their lives. And,
Man, even people who finish their university studies, they are still figuring out, okay, what should I do? For example, I've got a friend who's a lawyer, a very smart guy. But after all the studies, I think in Germany, it takes up to 10 years because you have to study at the university. It takes about 5 to 6 years. Then you have got to do the first state exam. Usually people need 1 or 2 years to prepare for that. Then you have to work for the state. Then you have got the second state exam. So it takes about 10 years.
Yeah.
And after that 10 years, it was like for him, like waking up from a dream. Okay, what I'm gonna do now? Is that what I'm gonna do now? He was so busy that he had no time to think about that. And maybe the time you spent in the mosque for yourself was like the time you could reflect on your life.
Really it was. Really it was. Because, it made me really think about what was important as well. After I die, they're not going to ask me how good a chef I was. Who is your Lord? What is your religion? And what did you say about the man who was sent to you? Those are the questions that are going to be asked. So especially in the culinary industry, the hours and, it can be very hectic. But, I think it really set me up to, make sure that I kept up with, not just my salawat, but my night prayers, anything like this. It really set me up to, be firm in my religion.
Talking a lot about your religion, let's dig into that. Where did you get your religious fundamentals?
Well, growing up, I was Christian. I was Christian until I was about 15, I'd say.
So your family is also Christian?
Well, my mother is. My father was Muslim.
Okay. From the start?
Yeah, from the start.
Okay.
Yeah, straight out the womb. Yep. Yeah, well, I was going to church every Sunday. I'm going to be honest. I always, but it's fitra. I always believed in God, but in my mind it was okay. There's so many different strains, and how am I supposed to know which one is which? How am I supposed to know which one is the right one? But up until I was going every once in a while with my father to the mosque, not really as much as I probably should have. Looking back, I'd say what really pushed me towards Islam was all of the wonderful men in my life, all of the best people I know for the most part. A lot of them were Muslim. I think that had a lot of effect on me, because whenever somebody would speak about my father or, one of my Uncle Shamsuddin Sharif, any one of these guys, only good ever came out. And I mean, there was over 400 people at my father's funeral, and a lot of them weren't even Muslim. They just had so much love for him that they came anyway. MashaAllah. I'd say a lot of that came from there. And also, my brother got in a really big car accident. So I was taking care of him. I was driving back and forth from Maryland. It's about 3 hours.
Daily?
I'd say twice a week.
Okay.
Twice a week. I had, when I started getting serious about my religion, I cut out all the music, which was a bit hard for me as well, because I used to listen to a lot of music. But I started listening to podcasts. And then when they started answering all of the questions that I had about the religion, all of these things started making sense to me. It was just like, okay, this is the truth. And there are going to be some consequences if now that I know this, I don't act accordingly. So for me, it was like, okay, this is it. This is what I need to start doing. So I think listening to a lot of these guys was really where my faith in the religion came, because for me, what convinced me was the evidence and the intellect, it appealing to my intellect. So for me, when Islam came along and it started making a bit more sense to me, I started asking questions that Christianity just didn't have.
You live in a mostly Christian country. Berlin is a atheist capital, maybe, but maybe you can get to more of to build bridges between these two faith groups, maybe.
Yeah,
because you have a deep understanding of both ways.
Yeah, I think so.
Would you say that?
Yeah, I really do think so.
Can you tell us about maybe a comparison between the Muslim experience in the United States and the Muslim experience in Berlin? I don't say Germany because Berlin, it's a bit different. It's a bit different than the rest of Germany.
Yeah. I did travel a bit when I was on tour with Kool Gang, because, they had their Hall of Fame tour, my Uncle Kool. So I did get to see, a few of the masjids and things, experience a bit from the other Muslim centers in the different cities here. And I really do think it's one of the miracles of this religion. Like, everybody is so tight. Even when I first came here, they didn't know me. I was just a kid off the street. But you would have thought that I had known them for 20 years. I can't say enough about it. Everybody was just so open and welcoming when I first got here. It really was heartwarming.
The religious spectrum in Germany has a cultural connotation, I would say. Well, Germany has a rich history about Islam, but it's a very small niche. People like Goethe, but it doesn't translate to the large populace in Germany. Nowadays, the Muslim experience is rather a cultural phenomenon. If you're from Turkish heritage, you'll go to a mosque that is predominantly Turkish. Can you compare that to the experience in the United States? Do you see a difference or similarities?
I'd say that they're very similar. The khutbahs and all of these things, they're all in Arabic. Everybody's reading Quran, giving salam in Arabic. But I'd say that the biggest difference would probably be just the things that are confronting the communities. Because in America, a lot of the things that they're talking about, they're related to Philistine. What's going on there. I'm still in the WhatsApp groups and everything. Everybody that I know is going to, protest every week in America, the colleges and things like this. And I'd say a lot more here at the masjid that I go to now, they're more talking about, different things. I don't, watch the news or anything like this, but I think there was some news about a terrorist attack here in Germany somewhere.
Yeah.
Something like, so they're talking about this, these sort of things a lot. Different things that are happening in the community here.
Yeah, it was in Solingen. Solingen is a city with a checkered past. Solingen has been the ground for different attacks from the fascists. A whole Turkish family was burned alive. Just a few members survived. And now the same city attacked from a terrorist with a knife. Yeah. Khalil, let's shift our focus from these rather heavy topics to some more constructive content. When you compare your life in the United States, I mean, okay, you are young, but you do sound mature for your age.
Thank you.
Maybe it's because you have found your passion and you work so hard. You once told me that you have trouble adapting to the working hours in Germany. Can you remember that? You said, in Germany, you can't work. You have always have to rest.
Yeah, that was real crazy, like really, really crazy for me too. Because in America, the government really doesn't get in the way of how much you want to work. If I want to work 3 jobs, they see that as that's your business. Here, I tried to get a second job and it was like, what do you need a second job for? That's my business, isn't it? That was my response. I want to, I came here to pursue my dreams, become the best I can be, and I can't do that without working hard. I just had to find different outlets.
Okay.
About...
And what kind of outlet did you find?
Like going back to, the story of me, my uncle Khalil, who actually lives here in Berlin, he's a native. He set me up with a job at a sushi place in Steglitz.
You got a second job?
Yeah, kind of. I really wouldn't say it was a job. It was my first job here. Like, that was my first job.
Okay.
That was before I got my current job.
Okay.
But, I still get to go there sometimes and they teach me how to make sushi and things like this. So that's normally my outlet, for my creative outlet where I feel like, okay, I'm slacking off too much. I need to go work. I need to go learn something. That's normally where I go.
Maybe you should marry her.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, I should. But that's a whole nother.
Yeah, that's a whole other.
I don't want to take if I find somebody here, I don't want to drag them away from their family all the way back to America.
So you do want to go back?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's
home for me.
How would you say that you nourish your spiritual needs in your daily life?
Salah. Because, I get stressed out too at work. Still a stressful industry, no matter how much I love it. Things go wrong, you get yelled at. Service is service. But for me, the prayer is like, it's a detox, It helps me keep sight of what's like really important.
Can you do your prayers while on work?
Yeah, of course.
Possible? Yeah.
Yeah.
Communicate that openly, or how does it work?
Oh, they are all my friends now.
Okay. Looking at the issue from a perspective of law, you have the right to do your prayers. But in reality, it is always
No, it was never an issue for me. Everybody where I work at is, forget understanding, wait, don't eat that. We cook that over here. Or, they look out for me, wallahi, I promise you. Hey, Khalil, isn't it time for you to make prayer right about now? Yeah, go downstairs. Wallahi, that's what they say to me.
Yeah. Can I ask you, what's your position now in the kitchen?
Komi.
Okay, how high, how low,
You know the guy, have you ever seen Ratatouille?
Yes.
You know the guy Linguini?
Yeah.
The main character.
Okay.
I'm that guy. I'm at not the very, very bottom, because I still have people that work under me.
Okay.
But I'm step above that.
Okay. What would be the next step? Or how long does it take to get to the next step?
Yeah, I'd say I'm right at that precipice now.
Okay.
Yeah. In all honesty, I'm probably doing that kind of work already, doing the orderings and, all this sort of things.
Got a perspective at the
Deutsch sprechen.
Okay. That's the issue. You got to learn German.
Ja, es muss auf jeden Fall mehr Deutsch lernen.
What does it have to do with the cooking? I mean, to learn German.
So. Du musst mit die Kellnerin sprechen, du musst die Orderlist machen, alles auf Deutsch.
Verstehe.
Ja, alles auf Deutsch.
Obwohl das so ein internationales Hotel ist.
My boss only ever talks to me in German.
Okay.
Like, even when I first got there, it was, if he saw me doing something wrong, he would say what I was doing in wrong to one of my, he speaks English, he speaks perfect English, mind you.
Okay.
He would say it in German to one of my colleagues, and then have one of my colleagues tell me in English.
Is he native German?
Mm-hmm.
I do know that kind of behavior.
Yeah, he's still a really nice guy.
So there was something I wanted to ask you. On your profile picture in the messenger, there is someone playing the drums.
Yeah, that's my father. Yeah, he was a drummer before he became the manager of Kool and the Gang. He was the manager for about 35 years.
Okay, that's the third time you mentioned Kool and the Gang. Elaborate on that.
Their story is really connected to mine because, a lot, like I said before, a lot of the opportunities that I came through my connections with my father. And my father was,
He was the main manager of Kool and the Gang.
Yeah, that was him. 35 plus years. Yeah, well, they're actually all related. Kool is my uncle.
And he is not living in Germany. No, he's living in
he lives
Italy?
in America.
Okay.
No. He lives in New Jersey.
New Jersey, okay. Are they still performing?
Yeah. They just had their Hall of Fame tour here. I was on tour with them. We went to Bremen, Munich, Cologne. Then we went to England. We went to Glide, England. And then, for the Love Supreme Festival. And then we came back to Berlin. And then they had a few other dates in Germany, but, I had to get back to work.
Is your uncle Muslim also?
Mm-hmm. Khalil. Some of my uncles who are also in the band weren't. or aren't. But I think my Uncle Kool he's the only founding member left.
Talk about that. How does it work to be a Muslim and to be in a band? And what was your view of that particular lifestyle?
They found Islam a bit later on, so they had already chosen their profession. And they're actually coming out with a documentary pretty soon that's talking a lot more about that, how they found Islam, and, all of these things. Because it trickled down. It trickled down to all their kids, All of their kids are Muslim for the most part.
MashaAllah. You mentioned that you were, for a time being, you stopped listening to music.
Yeah, other than Kool and the Gang, because once they found out at work that I was related to them, because my Uncle Kool came to visit me here, and he came and ate at the restaurant, my colleagues eventually found out, so they started playing Kool and the Gang whenever I was in the restaurant. I think I can get an autograph, all this sort of thing. So,
Do they have a big following in Germany?
Oh man, you should have seen these. Here, I'll show you pictures. I mean, you should see it. Like, I think there was close to 5,000 people at the Love Supreme Festival. All these crazy events. I think it was $200 a head for one of these private events, and it was,
oh wow,
they have a very big following out here.
I wouldn't have guessed that. Of course, I know Kool and the Gang.
A lot of viewers, maybe if they're younger, they probably don't know the name Kool and the Gang, but they would definitely know the songs.
Because I think Kool and the Gang, a lot of their main motives and songs are used in advertisement and movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It did not attract you to pursue something in music?
Nah, they tried to get me to play the piano, and I hated it. I didn't like it.
But you can play the piano.
No, I dropped it. Trust me, I dropped it. I was too lazy for it anyway. I didn't have the discipline at the time.
Okay. You got some brothers and sisters?
Take a wild guess, but when you guess, whatever number you guess, double it.
Okay. I'm guessing 9?
Did you double the number, or are you guessing 9 off left? So that was really close. I got 10. It's 10 of us.
My best friends, they have like 7 kids, so I'm used to
bigger families.
Yeah. We are 4 in my family. That's big for Germany, but small in comparison to 10. And from the 10 of your brothers and sisters, did one of them pursue a career in music?
2. I know my brother Aaron, and I'm not sure about Torn.
Okay.
I have another sister that's doing a baker. She's in the culinary industry as well.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody else, I'm not really sure. I know Jihad does HVAC. My brother, oh man, how I forget about my brother Hassan. Oh man, if you think I'm impressive or anything I'm doing is like, wow, this kid's coming to it. My brother Hassan, listen, like I've said before, I had connections already through Kool and the Gang. Kool and the Gang didn't have any connections in animal husbandry. So, Hassan is really doing also great things. I know he's been on the television already, things like this.
Oh, mashallah. What is he doing?
Animal husbandry. He was
What
a
does that
zookeeper.
mean? I don't know.
He works with animals.
And he's been on television with that profession?
Man, my brother is, alhamdulillah, he's 100%. He's outside. He stay outside.
Okay, so he's like presenting animals, or how do I have to?
Yeah, I'll give you his Instagram later, but so you can check it out, because it's really, really inspiring work. Ask this man about any animal under the sun, and he can tell you, just rattle off 10, 12, 20 different facts about it. Like he'll read you a whole novel.
Okay,
it's really something.
That sounds like a zoologist.
Yeah, basically.
But he knows how to train them, or how to utilize them, or.
Okay. Well,
is there a topic you want to talk about?
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll just finish up my story up until now. Seeing it.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I know we got to monologuing a bit. After that, I just sent. While I was waiting, I had sent at this point my resume, my CV, to everywhere in the city, and Kempinski was just the first one to get back to me.
And then the
I'm working now.
top place.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. At this point, I had Paperland is Germany's nickname. They loved, certifications and things. I had already had my degree in culinary at this point and all these things. And so, I had been working there ever since. And alhamdulillah, I love every day. I wake up happy to go to work.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I've asked myself the same question. I have no idea. Depends on where the opportunity takes me. I'm not sure. But anywhere I go, I definitely stand on staying in Berlin for at least another year. Maybe another 2 tops.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. I'll have to see. Maybe I'll ask Uncle Kool if he knows anybody.
Right. Yeah, maybe taking the next step.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know what you're doing in 4 weeks from now.
Oh, yeah.
You're giving a workshop?
Absolutely.
So
Hope anybody listening,
can you tell?
You are cordially invited to the October 2nd workshop in the Culture Studio.
The Muslim Culture Week in Berlin, and you are giving a workshop on cooking.
Yeah.
So but what exactly are you going to teach people?
Basically, home cooks, they have a lot of, problems. Nobody likes cooking at home. Why? they don't have time, they can't make it taste as good. The cost to benefit ratio, if I can just stop on the way home and get something fast, cheap, and taste good, I'm going to stop there rather than cooking at home. So in this workshop, I aim to, sort of combat those things, because not only sustainability, it's not as good for you as what you would make at home. It's also family building, especially for me, my brothers were always cooking for me. It's heartwarming, it helps bring people together.
In what cultures do they cook together? Are there like cultures where cooking together is a thing?
I'm not sure. I think that's cooking in all cultures, really. Everyone that I've come across, it's always been like a family event.
Yeah, I mean, they all come to eat.
Yeah.
But I mean, the cooking process itself, is that like shared?
Like in a professional setting? Or?
No, in a private.
I'm not sure. Really, for me, it's always been like a family thing. It's always been like a family gathering. One guy is going to cook all the food and clean the dishes and, all these other things.
Okay, and the rest is going
and
to
everybody's just going to eat. And then, well, it's great. Have fun cleaning the dishes.
That is what I like about some of my friends. They, from an early age, because one of my closest friends, his mother and father got divorced. Mm-hmm. So he had to cook for himself. We made it some kind of hobby to cook together. Till now, cooking together is like a ritual we do. Mm-hmm. Very basic food. The food we like the most is pasta with pesto.
Yeah, see.
So it is really simple. But we have like our thing, I'm chopping the onions for the salad, and he prepares the, other stuff. And he always have a very good pesto. He's half Italian, so a lot of times his father would bring self-made pesto. Oh, that's so great.
Yeah, but one of the things that I also love, even when the food is terrible, it still brings the people together. You remember that other place we stayed at? God, that place was terrible. It's whatever it is, it's always just bringing people together. It's one of the things I really love about the industry.
So that's the reason you are going to give a workshop on cooking, because you want to open people's eyes for the experience of coming together, of cooking.
It can really be fun and, rewarding, especially because you can cut down on the food cost if you do it properly.
Maybe you can convince people.
I hope so. Hopefully we get about 400 or 500 people that come now.
Let's see. Really? Is that venue that big now?
Yeah, it's a pretty big kitchen, but I'd say maybe maximum 25.
25, okay.
Yeah, about this.
All right. That's a way smaller number than 400.
Yeah, no, I was exaggerating.
Well, for now, I'm all out of topics.
Yeah.
Is there something on your mind left?
The Islamic Culture Week was really the one thing that I wanted to talk about as well. I'm very excited about this because, I've done different things like this in America as well. But, normally for younger kids, making pasta, things like this.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be very cool to try with the older audience, do some more cool stuff, because we're going to be working with flames. We're going to be working with large blenders and things like this in the workshop. So
not only the taste buds.
The Schmecken.
Yeah. In German we say nicht nur etwas für den Gaumen, like that's the Gaumen, where you taste something, but also something for the eyes and for the ears and the whole body experience. You can touch things, you can taste it, you can smell it. Okay, all right. Then you heard it, people. Sign up for Khalil's cooking workshop. He has a great energy.
Thank you.
And promised me not to be too hard to the...
Oh, absolutely not.
I've got a prejudice against cooks, that they are like really hard and always yelling and shouting.
It's only like this when things are going wrong. If everything's going right, there's no reason to yell, right?
But I mean, you got like beginners there, yeah? You mean you have to ease them in?
No. I don't know. I don't think many chefs would agree with that.
Okay.
At least my experience.
Okay. All the workshop participants, you can be prepared to get the full cooking experience.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's a friendly environment.
All right, man, you get such a great smile. I think people
definitely inherited that from my dad. Trust me.
People will love that. Okay, Khalil, thank you for joining us today. I hope for the listeners it was a good experience to hear a guest host. I'm going to attend at least the eating part of your workshop.
You're welcome.
Okay, vielen lieben Dank fürs Zuhören. Bis zur nächsten Folge. Wahrscheinlich dann wieder mit Asim und einem weiteren tollen Gast. Bis dann.
Ciao.